Hey everyone, it's Brandon aka Judo, and welcome back to Journey with Judo. Pew. Happy Sunday! This week I wanted to try something a little different and respond to something that someone wrote in the comment section. So shout out to Michalexi, who wrote, "Hi Judo, I'm senior graduating from college this coming May, and I'd love to hear you talk about how you transitioned from college to a full-time job. While I'm looking forward to work, I'm also bracing a lot of change. I'll be moving to a new place with no friends, family, and a new company. I'll be working 9 to 5-ish, and I have so many other passion projects I'd want to pursue. What if I don't enjoy my coworkers as friends? Who do I go out with? How have you balanced your work with your personal passion? How have you got along with the more senior people in your firm? Please just give any general advice. Thanks, winky face." Don't worry, Michalexi, I got you. So I graduated from college about 2 years ago from UCLA. Go Bruins, baby! And since then, I think I've had a chance to really experience and live through some of the thoughts that you've had. And so I'm excited to share my thoughts on some of these things. Thought number 1, being in a new place with less familiarity and no friends or family. So I do have to be a little bit honest with you here. When I graduated, I stayed in the same area afterwards, so I'm still fortunate enough to have a few friends around. But I think there's one thing that's really true, that distance is more of an emotional space rather than a physical space. When I graduated, a good majority of my very best friends moved out of the area or just didn't live in the same area that I live in. And so it was pretty tough at first, but along those same lines, you kind of figure out ways to keep in contact just as closely, even though you might not physically be close in proximity. One of the ways that I found really helpful to do this is to use FaceTime on your iPhone. FaceTime is really great because you get a chance to see each other face to face. You can hang out, fold laundry, talk about girls, do whatever, sit on the toilet. And the key here is that when you FaceTime people, it's an active choice to be present. You can't just message someone, leave them on red, and then go do your thing. When you FaceTime someone, you literally have to be face to face and commit to showing what you're doing and what you look like at all times. And so that's why I think it's a little bit different. But I'm sure you'll soon learn that everything is really a choice when you graduate. And so that brings me to my next point, which is choose to have an open mind when you're in your new city and trying to look for new friends or new people to get along with. I think it's really easy to get bogged down and use the fact that you don't necessarily know anyone when you're first moving into your new city. I get it, that's like a huge disadvantage. But I encourage you not to keep it as a crutch or use it as an excuse to stay in that state. I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is to trust that you're going to be able to find people that you align with. And I'll come up with some different ways to go about that, but I think it first starts in your mentality, because once you have the right mindset, then you can find the right answers to help get you where you want to go to. The first thing that I recommend you do is to find mutual friends of friends. So maybe your direct friends might not be in that same city as you, but they might know someone who's also in that city. I don't know if you had this experience growing up, but for me, being part of the Asian families, something I think that the Asian community does really well, and that's pretty great, is that we tend to introduce random people by association. Like anytime we move into a new area, we would find some new auntie that was friends with some other auntie from Asia that we've never even met before, but somehow decided to have tea with, and all of a sudden you guys are family friends. It's kind of the same idea when you move into a new city. Find other people who know similar people to you, so that way you can at least have some sort of indication of the type of people they get along with, because maybe if they get along with the same type of person as you would get along with them as well. So that would be my first tip. The second thing that I recommend doing is to find communities and consistency in the things that you enjoy doing. And the reason I bring up this tip is you kind of have to ask yourself the question of the kind of people I want to hang out with, what would they be doing? For example, for me, I love dancing, and that's kind of the thing that I've been pursuing a lot. And so one thing I do is I regularly attend certain dance classes, or I found a certain dance team community. And so when you find a place where you can show your face consistently and do the things that you love doing, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because you find not only people that enjoy the same things as you, but you also find people who are consistently in the same spaces as you. And so that's, I think, how you can build stronger connections. And of course, it is dark again, so I gotta change up the light. There we go. Last point on this. Don't be afraid to be the one who takes initiative and take ownership of your own social situation. Ask that really cool person you met to grab lunch sometime or to hang out outside of whatever setting that you met. Be the actual person who's willing to initiate gathering everyone to go out. It kind of sounds like I'm telling you to like date your friends or something, but kind of date your friends, because what I mean by that is when you take the lead, you give yourself and that other person the opportunity to deepen your friendship. And I think one of the best ways to become interesting to other people is just to be interested. And this segues to the second thing I wanted to talk about in this video, which is finding ways to get along better with people at work. I think the very big key to this is, as I just mentioned, be interested in them as human beings. I think a lot of times at work, it's really easy to feel like, oh, like I have to play things really safe, be really politically correct, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes because it's a very professional setting. But I think the key here is to understand that there's a balance between personal and professional, where you can not only respect your coworkers in a professional setting, but still look at them as normal human beings. Because I think the worst thing you can do is to put senior management or other people that you work with as this untouchable being that's on a pedestal, or someone that you can only interact with in one way of life, which is the career setting. A lot of your coworkers, just like you, have things that they're really excited about, people that they love, and things that they look forward to. And so although career is the priority in the workplace, that's not the only aspect of their lives that's meaningful to them. For example, this one senior manager that I used to work for loved talking about his wife and kids. And so every time I would ask him about how his kids were doing, what kind of activities he was signing up for, his face would just totally light up. And you could see how much it really meant for him and what a big part of his life it was. And for me, I love talking about love and like family and things like that, as cheesy as it sounds. So I think we really got to connect on a deeper level because of that, and it really got to help me understand him more as a person and build a more meaningful relationship. Especially when it comes to either older people or people who are more senior than you at your firm, you have to understand that they have a lot more life experience than either you or me. And that's really exciting because there's so much we can learn from them. So take the time to try to understand the steps they've taken in their journey and learn from it. And I think at the end of the day, that will help you build a more meaningful relationship where you can talk about more than just the weather. In general, I think the only thing you really need to remember is the golden rule, which is you should treat and care for your coworkers the same way that you want to be treated and cared for as well. The third and last thing that I wanted to address in your question was keeping up with things that you're passionate about outside of work. And I think the big perspective change that is important here is to understand that although career is one very big and one very important part of your life, equally important are other things such as your friends and family, your relationship with them, your health, and your passion projects that you want to pursue. Now, there's going to be times where work will have to be prioritized over those other things, but my point is, when you say that you want to make time for your passions and other people in your life, you have to fight for it. So what do I mean by that? Boom! It's 5 o'clock, you just got off work, and you're super tired. It's been a really long day. What are you going to do? The thing is, you have to recognize that it's a complete choice. Whether you go home and watch Netflix and fall asleep, go out drinking with friends at a bar, or pursue whatever it is that you want to do that's your passion project, you have to take complete ownership of that choice and you have to fight for it. There's going to be days where you're super tired and you're brain dead and everything, and it's really easy to fall into the trap of saying, oh, I don't have time for that anymore because after work I'm so tired and I just can't, which is what I hear a lot of people say. I'm not saying you should push yourself to overexhaustion or something, but if you want to do something, you have to just do it. You need to be the person who grabs your own life by the balls and just puts yourself out there and figures out a way to get what you want, because no one else is going to do that for you. And so it's really just a matter of you knowing what you want, planning ahead accordingly, and then grabbing your booty hole off the chair to actually do it. By the way, I know that talking about this over camera makes it seem really straightforward to grasp, but doing what you need to do consistently to get to where you want is going to be one of the most difficult things that you can do, especially when you're so tired after work or there are all these other things on your mind. But I hope that you remember that regret is probably one of the worst feelings in the world. And as someone who's already in the post-grad, I can tell you that time moves extremely fast. So in the days where you don't feel the motivation to do what you have to do, I hope this gives you the energy to stand back up and fight. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video, but thank you again, Miss Alexi, for the amazing question, and shout out to anyone else out there who might be in similar life circumstances. Congratulations on making it to where you are right now. I know it's no easy feat, and although I know that the future is a bit daunting, especially with so much change on the way, but no matter what happens, I hope you'll have enough faith and trust in yourself and in life to know that everything's going to be okay. On those days where things get really tough, I hope you can come back to this video to know that someone out here is rooting for you. I'm really excited for what life has in store for you, and I'll be cheering you on. Good luck. Anyways, if you know someone out there who you feel this advice can really make an impact on, be sure to share this video with them. Otherwise, comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and be sure to follow me on Instagram at JourneyWithJudo. By the way, let me know what you thought of this format and whether or not there's any other questions that you want me to answer. Comment in the section below. That's all, folks. See you next time.